During October of 2023, we had the opportunity to visit the Lipalichi Wilderness Area in the Niassa province of Mozambique. The area was formerly known as the Chapanji Community Conservation Area, and we had the opportunity to stay in all three of the camps that it hosts, the main camp, and then a northern and southwestern tented camp. Now, this area is also home to just over 4,500 people. And one has to be sensitive to these folks as they try and carve out a living when one is trying to hunt and enjoy a hobby. And it's interesting to see that many of the dwellings are permanent on the higher ground, but on lower ground where it rains a lot, these are kind of semi-permanent or temporary dwellings, which really get devastated when the storms set in. And these are also the areas where they cut down trees and create their mashambas, where they grow their corn and millet and really provide food for later times. Something else which you can note from this video is just how small the road is, because the major form of transport here is either a bicycle or a motorbike. So we're really the only big vehicles that travel on these roads. The northern boundary of Lipalichi is the Rovuma River, which also forms the boundary between Mozambique and Tanzania. So a true wilderness area. As I said, this area spans an area of 1.6 million acres, 6,500 square kilometers, and it lies just to the west of the last hunting blocks next to the Niassa Game Reserve. Now, the easiest way to get to this area is to take a commercial flight from Maputo, fly to Lichinga, and then take a vehicle from there. And it's about a 2.5 to 3 hour drive into the main camp. The main camp forms the heartbeat of the Lipalichi Wilderness Area. It hosts the majority of staff. It also hosts some of the anti-poaching units, vehicle repair areas, and maintenance areas. And obviously, these anti-poaching units need to be mobile, so it hosts a motorbike section for them as well. It also hosts the trophies in a very, very neat and tidy trophy storage area. And then obviously for hunters, it has the area where they take their meals and socialize around a campfire. So, it's a rock under thatch. It's a permanent structure. It has phenomenal views of a river and some mountains in the backdrop, and some truly phenomenal and spectacular sunrises and sunsets can be enjoyed here. The chalets are the same. They're ensuite with a bathroom attached to each chalet. Really nice and private, very, very practically laid out, and really you're home from home while hunting. Really nothing more needed while you're staying here. An important conversation regarding the Miamba woodland covering Lipalichi area is fire. Now, fire is used by the management to, well, firstly, protect property by making fire breaks. Secondly, it is made to allow tracking a little easier and entice wildlife to burnt off areas. Now, typically, these fires are set early on in the season following the growth period. So, typically August, September. Now, unfortunately, this year the fires were late and they burnt a lot hotter, and hence was a little more out of control. As you can see here, we're watching from the deck of the main camp, and it is a huge fire approaching. Now, fortunately for the fire breaks, that fire went around the camp and didn't touch the camp, but it was still nervous moments. Now, locals also set fire, and for them it's different. One is to clear their mashamba so they can plant, but most importantly is to clear areas next to the road so they don't get attacked by predators. But yeah, a close cut on this one. The topography in Lipalichi is really covered up by three different types. Firstly is the Miamba woodland, covered by big trees with savanna type grass underneath it. Then you have a little bit more open areas covered off by flays and bigger trees. interspersed with these big termite mounds. And then, we go into areas with pans or riverbeds that contain a little bit of water with greenery surrounding it. And these really allow for a diversity of animals to, occupy this. The more water we have, obviously, the more animals we're going to have, and the more dispersed they're going to be because they have water everywhere. Uh, and that allows, for this big area to be a little bit more challenging to hunt, especially when you have late rains like we had in 2023. Interspersed amongst these areas are ridges, or I'm going to call them small mountains. But you have these ridges which have these black granite blocks on them. Some of them are called Inselbergs towards the east, but a very nice thing to break up the topography, and really, really something truly spectacular to be able to see and hunt amongst. The second camp we stayed in was the Mbula camp, which is situated in the northeast part of Lipalichi, about 2 hours south of the Rovuma River. It is a tented camp, which is situated right behind a very, very nice flay, a large body of water which almost makes a curve and surrounds the camp on two sides. A lot of greenery, a lot of bird life, and yeah, great canvas, very, very simply set up, but very practical. These tents are really nice and spacious with enough place to put all your stuff. They all have double beds in them, and somewhere to put your dirty laundry to be cleaned the next day. The paths between the tents and the central area are all illuminated by solar powered lights in the evenings. And walking into the central area, which is a mirror style tent, it covers off a very nice area where you can enjoy the evening fire, chew the cud on what happened during the day. It also has an area to kind of lounge and rest during the day when it's really hot. It is equipped for everybody to enjoy their meals around a table, and it has a nice spacious area for a bar in the evenings. So very, very practical setup, very nicely laid out, a really, really nice and quiet tented camp. Traveling in these remote areas with the late rainy season does present its challenges, and yeah, we did get stuck a couple of times, but hunting in the Mayamba woodland has its advantages because there's never a tree too far off for a winch to be attached to. So it takes a little bit of time, but it's easy to extract these vehicles and get them going again. It also allows you a little bit of time to enjoy the scenery, and also to be bitten by the tsetse flies, which are really, really prevalent in these areas. But nevertheless, it's part of the adventure. Maybe delay you a little bit, but makes it all worth the effort and enjoyable, and creates a good laugh. Now, the one thing that I think does present a challenge is the local population does seem to really fish these water bodies very, very aggressively. We came onto a couple of these fishing camps where people were drying fish that they caught, and I think the one thing which is a little concerning is not how many we saw or what we saw. It was just what they caught that was a little concerning. If you look at the size of the fish, it's really small, so it means that the big fish is already gone. And if they keep utilizing the small fish, eventually it will really decimate the fish population. And you can already see it in some of the bird populations. In 10 days of camping in 3 different camps, we only heard a fish eagle cry once. So that is it's a little bit of a concern. The final camp we hunted out of was the Masinji camp, which lies in the southwestern part of Lipalichi on a very, very nice, clear body of water. These are all more modern mirror type tents laid out right on the water, each with their own ablution facilities. And these tents are really nice and spacious. They're very well aerated. So The ventilation really helps these tents to stay cool during the day. So there's a lot of air movement. Each of them have a very nice bedside tables to put your stuff on. They're all built on decks, and they have their ablution facilities pretty close by. In front of each tent, there's a reed deck built out where you can sit in the afternoons, watch the sunset, and uh, I mean, it's just really comfortable. A lot of thought went into this camp. Very practically laid out, and really very pleasant and well put together. It's set up in a very nice area. It has a dining area which is also set up very nicely. It's a little separate from the fire pit, but nevertheless, the dining area has a lounge area, again very well ventilated, and then again, it has the table set up for dining, a little area for a bar, and then you just walk down. And as you walk down towards the body of water, there's a sandy, almost like a beach area where you can have your fire. And the sun sets just behind that pole on the left there, creating an absolutely awesome experience. This is just the kitchen area, which is set up around uh, the back of the camp where the local folks that work there prepare some of your meals. Very clean and tidy, and it is just truly amazing what these guys can come up with. When you give them a little bit of initiative and let them be, and they cook us well and feed us well, and they also allow us to enjoy a good drink every now and then. And as I said, this fire, uh, at the end of the day, I haven't found a lot of spots that can beat this one with the sun setting there behind it. It's just absolutely awesome. With regards to the animals, we came to Lipalichi to hunt two old buffalo bulls and one hyena, one sable. And we left with three out of the four. This is a very nice buffalo breeding herd just north of 100 animals. So definitely there's hope. There's animals breeding. We saw lots of waterbuck. We saw lots of reedbuck. We saw a small bush duiker. We saw a fair bit of the Liechtenstein hartebeest, which is endemic to this area. And there's not a lot of places you can hunt it, but we did see a fair bit of that. We saw some really good Roosevelt sable, and I was fortunate to hunt one, and this one that's running away. It's a pity we couldn't get a hold of him, but it shows that there are not some nice bulls running around here. We saw lots of bushbeck, lots of warthogs, so there's hope. One comment on the local beer, Doshem, Patrice McMahon, the guy after which this beer was named. He was the guy that gave Tet to Mozambique instead of giving it to Zimbabwe and Zambia when Cecil John Rhodes wanted another piece of Africa. So he's a French gentleman that has been honored by the Portuguese, and actually it went independent, and he's been honored by that country by having his name on that beer forever. Most of the Portuguese road signs have gone. There's one or two left, but most of them have gone. The new names, uh, new villages, everything has been renamed. New signs put up, and it's very clear that the government is trying to do something in this area because they want the votes. It is sad to see that the manufacture of charcoal has crept in here. Lots of unemployment, but this is Africa, and folks try, folks run their businesses, folks do things, and I hope that the folks here in northern Mozambique avoid the mistakes of the past and not have those things return to them, and that everything goes well in their future.